Welcome back to Fresh Outlook, everybody. I'm TWB. Well, Google Glass is slated to launch this fall, and it has lawmakers on high alert, along with those who say it's an invasion of privacy. Take a look.
The next science fiction-like technology to come from Google won't even hit the market until 2014. But already, it's the focus of an age-old controversy. Known as Google Glass, some describe it as nothing more than a smartphone you can wear on your face. But others protest that behind the cool features is a device that could threaten privacy rights or even public safety. Last week, a lawmaker in West Virginia proposed a bill to ban Google Glass while driving. And activists, like those running a campaign called Stop the Cyborgs, want limits on where the technology is used. They're not just worried about the device secretly recording someone in a cafe, but about all the data it would collect whenever the wearer had it on. Is this just a case of technophobia? Or could technology be moving too fast for our own good? In the debate, an important question once again comes into view. How does society address valid concerns over ethics and consumer protection without blocking needed innovation?
All right, lots of views to get to, no pun intended. That was a pun intended. Let's introduce our newest panelist. Jose, tell us who you are, where you're from. Welcome.
I'm Jose Lopez. I'm a professor of physics at Seton Hall University in New Jersey.
Welcome. Panel, just generally, what do we think of Google Glass? This is like the piece said, it's a smartphone for your face. It kind of does everything that you can do in the palm of your hand without having to touch anything. You just will obviously say it. Dee Dee, what do you think?
I think it's kind of scary because what if they're wearing those glasses, I'm in the locker room or I'm doing something that I want someone to see and ends up on the internet? I mean, it is an invasion of privacy, and it's just one of those things that we really have to be aware of. I think New Yorkers are used to being photographed all the time in cameras, but you know, a lot of folks are really disturbed by this, and I think they have a reason to, or we all have a reason to sit back and think, wow, what's going to be recorded? And also with Google acquiring all information on everyone.
Right.
I mean, there's something to, you know, really think about that it's inevitable. The technology is moving forward, and we need to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it's sort of that data influx. But you mentioned sort of a scenario being in a locker room, but people can do that now with their regular smartphones. People
yeah,
can
but
film.
at least you're going to have to, like, you know, maneuver or have it out there. But with the glass, you can just say record. And, or someone recording your conversation, a private conversation right next to you, and it's against the law to do it on the phone, so it should be against the law to do it this way as well.
Right, okay. Jose, I want to get your expertise, because you study emerging technologies at Seton Hall. So what were your thoughts when you heard about this? And do you agree about the privacy issues, or is this a good thing in terms of technological innovation?
I'm very excited about it. I think anybody who has an interest in technology is going to be excited about this. It's still a question mark as to what the technology will do. I mean, we don't think it's going to be much smarter than a smartphone as far as what it does. But the questions that arise is, well, now you know you don't have to position them. Just move your head, look in that direction, and you can record audio, you can record video, you can take pictures. So that's the thing where the question mark comes into play.
And what do you think? Is privacy a big issue here, or is this sort of technological innovation at its best?
It's both, and I think it's a huge problem if anyone looks at this in the context of an Orwellian tragedy that it could be in terms of surveillance and data that's collected and then used against people without their permission. For me, the real issue is how this is going to be regulated. So it's wonderful to have access to the technology, but ultimately, what will we do in order to ensure that people's privacy is protected and that you're not in a situation where, for example, someone captures a conversation or captures an image and it winds up on the net without the permission of the person who's been photographed or recorded without their knowledge.
Right, but it just sort of I guess that one of the big features of these glasses just captures everything you're doing and saying, but it's going back to Google.
And you don't know about it.
You don't know about it.
You don't know about it. I mean, who knows? It can be anything and everything. And you know, when you don't know you're being recorded, I mean, you know, you're very outgoing and you say things that you don't want people on the net to hear, and you certainly don't want them to perhaps see. So, you know, we really have to figure out, I mean, how are we going to monitor this and how are we going to regulate it? And, you know, how can we be fair? Because after it's on the internet, it's all over.
What happens to all this data, though, Jose, in terms of the cloud in general? Where is it all going? Even now, what are they doing with it?
That's a question mark. Nobody knows. I mean, it's Google, like many other entities, Apple being another one, and many other, basically record everything, and it floats up in literally clouds, computer servers all over the world, and it sits there and it's just all recorded. So the question mark is, well, whose information is that? I mean, according to most international law in most countries, it's your data, but right, it's not on your computer, it's not on your hard drive. So that's where the question marks come. But
who owns these glasses? Do I own them or does Google own them?
you own them, but you pay for, effectively, I mean, you are paying for the access to the internet. You're paying for any kind of apps and updates and all these different things. So it's not going to be much, it's not going to move away like your regular service from your regular cell phone provider.
Okay, here's what I want to ask the panel. Is this going to catch on? We've seen these images of people with these, even Sergey, the Google head in the subway wearing them. Do we really think they, by the way, the launch date, I know the piece said 2014, the latest stats are saying fall of 2013. So this may come out, they're shooting for the end of the year. Is this going to catch on? Will we see people everywhere wearing glasses? I mean, what do you think?
I do believe that it will catch on.
Really?
My concern too is that you take a product like this, which is great and abstract, and then you have to consider the safety issues that go along with this beyond privacy. So if people are wearing these glasses, does it obstruct their vision? Is it going to create a problem for drivers? So these are all things that states are going to have to look at in terms of regulation. Typically, states can regulate for three things: health, safety, and morals. The safety concerns haven't been worked out yet. So, and then also the question about how this will impact people's health. So have those issues been worked out? So there's some other considerations here. You kind of hate to jump to the 1984 elements, but there's some very practical nuts and bolts that have to be worked out with regard to this too.
Well, a couple things. I did read that they are developing a device, so if you do wear glasses, you won't have to wear sort of bispectacles. Somehow they will be connected. They're working on that. But you brought up a good point, because I wanted to ask you guys about the West Virginia bill to ban people driving in terms of wearing the Google. You can't wear these glasses if you're going to be driving in West Virginia. A bill was just proposed. What do you guys think of that, Jose?
I think it's a good idea. It's a good regulation. I mean, the biological effect is still a question mark. I mean, you are looking at an image that is in front of you, so that is your nearsighted vision at work. But when you're driving, that's not a good thing, your nearsightedness. Okay, you can see your steering wheel, but what you need to see is what's in front of you.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's one
we
thing.
can't use a phone or Twitter, so why would they be able to use this? It's even worse.
Different though. That's just audio. This is visual. You have something obstructing your vision. So why on earth would any state allow you to wear these glasses in the driver's seat? Do you agree?
Completely. There's been all kinds of questions about cell phones linked to brain cancer and things like this. So those questions have to be worked out. There's also the problem for me of looking at this in the context of regulation. So you have New York having a soft drink ban. And concerned about people's health and safety that way. Exactly. But then this technology is available and people seem comfortable in saying, well, it's going to be used for purposes that are not nefarious. I worry about this application in the hands of law enforcement, quite frankly.
Right.
When we talked about it goes up in a cloud, I'm pretty sure we know it's the Google cloud. And Google has everything about all of us. And then where does it go? Does it go law enforcement? Does it go to FBI? Does it go to KGB? I mean, where's it going? So it's very scary because we don't know what's going to happen with this. But you can be darn sure they're going to have every bit of information that comes with these glasses, of course.
Will you buy them? Will you give up your smartphone
I probably
for glasses?
will. Because if bad people or nosy people or people are taking my picture, I'm going to know exactly what they're doing. I'm going to have the same tool, so I am aware and I can be ready to, if someone's snapping my picture, if they're recording, I know exactly what they're doing, then maybe I know when they're doing it.
But do you think this is a generational issue? Sort of young people will just think this is cool, this is the latest gadget that I need to get. That young people don't really care about privacy issues. I don't think they do. I mean, we live in a social media world. Privacy, what's that? I mean,
their lives are the Truman Show, unfortunately, and they don't have the same understanding of privacy in the way that we understood it, penumbras of privacy, so on and so forth. One thing that you raised, Jose, that really bothers me as well is that we basically pay for this service, but Google enlists us in the information that we upload.
We're paying for their information, for them to acquire our information.
Right.
Couldn't agree more, and that's a huge problem.
Right. I mean, but you think, I mean, I know you're a little biased in terms of you love this technology. Do you really think in the next few years people will forego their phones and everyone's going to be wearing these glasses?
I don't know if it'll go to that extent, but I definitely think there's a lot of benefits to this technology. One of them was brought about, like we remember a few weeks back when there was a Russian meteorite that flew over Russia and fell in Russia. And you had all these dashboard cameras that civilians had. And the reason they have those in Russia is because law enforcement cheat them, they fight over them. So you could see a benefit where, Occupy Wall Street, these different folks, I mean, we saw how they used technology to really get their message out when there was police brutality and different things. So I think at least for certain things where there could be an Orwellian approach, something that happens like this, I think it definitely comes into play. I look at it from the perspective as an educator, as a professor, at how it can help students learn better. I mean, you have instant access where you don't need to be typing in, you can talk to it. And information comes up in front of you. So that is awesome.
But see, I don't agree with that. I know you're an educator, but I'm old school. I think that kids today are lazy. That it's so easy. I mean, make them work a little bit. I mean, you don't agree with that?
I don't think it's laziness. I mean, I think they're more curious, I think, than ever before. When I was curious about something, I had to look it up in an encyclopedia, read through that. Now it's just instant,
but it
and
made
you can learn so much faster.
It more. I feel like now there's so much at your fingertips. It's just the appreciation and the way to get there is just sort of overlooked and sort of poo-pooed.
Well, you need to have both. You can't just do it this way. Taryn's right. I mean, because then you're...
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Yeah, because then you're not operating other parts of their brain. I mean, his brain's everywhere else other than you. They've got, the glasses on, so they don't have to do anything. So, that's not healthy. That's not good for education. But, I mean, I just really worry about this interactive intelligence on steroids, and we kind of lose control of it. And it's just... But I do believe it's here to stay, so we're going to have to deal with it, which is why I'm not real thrilled about it, but I will get the glasses.
Okay,
because everybody else is going to have them.
Final question. The question is, should we be afraid of the future? Everyone weigh in real quickly.
For me, absolutely, it's a question of accountability. Young people in particular, we're now seeing an incidence of young people uploading images of themselves in compromising positions. They don't have the intelligence yet, the maturity to understand how this tool is used. That, for me, signals the reason why we have to be very careful about how this is made available, to whom it's made available, and for what purposes.
Okay. Jose, final thought?
I have no fear about the future. I think the future is exciting. If you do science and technology work like I do, that's what you're really looking at, what's coming down the line. And I think that's what I try to impart on my students and the reason a lot of folks get into science, engineering, kind of STEM careers.
Okay.
I think it's a little scary. We have to be vigilant, but I do think it's here to stay. I don't think there's any way to stop it.
It is here to stay, but I worry as, the old timers die out and you're just left with a generation where they don't know anything, they don't know this word privacy, and it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see if Google Glass catches on. Thanks, guys, for your insights. That was terrific. We got to move on and take a break. When we return to Fresh Outlook, we're talking about college sports and big money. Is there a good balance, or is it time for some reform? Stay with us. That's next.